And the People's Democratic Party presidential campaign council is raising an alarm that the All Progressives Congress is trying to manipulate the election results of Ebonyi and Imo State to enable it to meet the constitutional required spread. Well, the party is alleging that having been defeated in both states by Peter Obi of the Labour Party, the APC is now trying to shore up its votes in the two states by manipulating figures. Flanked by one of the spokespersons of the council, Frank Schwaibu, the director of strategic communications, Dele Momodu, who made the claims, says the candidate of the APC, Bola Tinubu, can only satisfy the constitutionally required spread if his party succeeds in manipulating the two southeastern states' results. He's alleging that the ruling parties are hoping to use governors of the state who are both APC members. The People's Democratic Party is still confident of winning the presidential polls.
We remain the only political party which has secured the necessary 25% spread across more than 24 states in the country. No other political party has been able to cross this essential constitutional requirement. As a matter of fact, we have it on credible grounds that our main opponent in this election, the All Progressives Congress Party, is currently mounting pressure in attempts to have their way in securing 25% in Imo State and Ebonyi State in particular. It is on the merits of this intelligence that we are calling on the Independent National Electoral Commission, INEC, to apply all necessary precaution before announcing procured results in the presidential election from these two states in particular.
We are aware of the desperation of the APC and their goons, but we are confident that INEC will do the right thing and will fix whatever glitches may have occurred on their system. You understand? And upload the right results. And that's why we've called on them. Our candidate called on them yesterday to make sure that all results are uploaded from the various centers because of the fear and desperation of the APC governors to deliver to their candidates who they know very clearly cannot meet the constitutional requirement of getting 25% in 24 states.
Frank Schreiber, the Special Assistant to Atiku Abubakar on Public Affairs. Well, let's bring in Public Affairs Analyst Dr. Mefor, who joins us now in the studio to really take a look at all of the developments as we've seen them today. Dr. Mefor, thank you so much for being here. Well, before we come to the claims by the PDP, let's talk about the international observers. They've used very strong words, on our elections, despite the fact that they gave credit to INEC for where they did well. There are a lot of knocks going in the way of INEC as well. Especially, I want to look at the words used by Thabo Mbeki, who is the Commonwealth Observer Group Chair. He says, this elections has decimated the trust of the people of Nigeria. Talk to us about how weighty this statement is and its implications, especially looking at new developments we're seeing,
around the
results as they're coming.
Very disappointing moment. For me, there can be a lower moment for Nigeria than now. Self-inflicted injury. And I believe INEC brought this upon itself, avoidably so. For 4 whole years, INEC has been on the planning of this very essential and crucial moment, only to renege at the very last moment. The president offered free playing ground so that all would be able to do all they can to win if they can. And that is all a president can do. The institutions and the law enforcement agencies will have to play their roles and other stakeholders. INEC is an umpire. INEC has descended into the arena and become a partisan party to this whole process. Now, 2 things. If you go through the extant Electoral Act, the one that is subsisting at the moment, check section 60, section 64, 68, very clear.
And how the results are transmitted.
Yes, it gives INEC the opportunity to put in place how elections results will be transmitted. Now, you see, he further gives INEC the power to make its own rules as a regulator. What that means is that we are looking at both the Electoral Act and the rules made by INEC itself. INEC reneged on both. INEC has the opportunity to get things right. And over the months, INEC told the Nigerians, told the political parties, all the stakeholders, that results will be transmitted live, so as to achieve what you call real time. And somewhere along the line, at the nick of time, when it mattered most,
at the 11th hour.
At the 11th hour, INEC turned 360 degrees and abandoned the process.
Can we really say they have abandoned the process?
They have. Listen, you see, the damage done to this process is so irredeemable.
But the INEC chairman just this evening, during one of the presses, he did say that the engineers are working to fix the
glitch. We don't care about that
ensure
anymore.
That they upload the results. And he says he's going to address the issue tomorrow.
My point is that even if they upload the results this moment, it will no longer remedy the damage they have done. You know why? You see, the idea is you upload the results real time so that people will follow the process. That will ensure accountability. This is what INEC has removed from the process.
Okay.
How do you remedy that now?
All right. Law, let's look at another worrisome issue to the European Union Observer team. Is the issue of political inclusiveness for women and youths. You know, when you look at the parties or even look at structure of government or governance in this country, the 35% affirmation that the women of Nigeria even got in the law courts is not being implemented, and the rest. And Nigeria is a signatory to several treaties on women, beginning from Beijing then.
It's a difficult thing to implement the way people expect it to be implemented. Some political parties have taken some measures. They offer free ticket to women who want to aspire. And that, I think, is something. You can't achieve that through elective process without amending the constitution to allow apex women organizations.
A kind of fiat.
There must be a fiat. That's the only way if you have to go by way of election. Because if you leave it the way it is, you will have to vie by throwing yourself into the arena. If you win the ticket of the party, you will contest. You can't stop men from contesting when they buy their tickets, when they buy their forms,
their nomination
forms, and so on and so forth. But I suggest that what can be done is this: what can be done to ensure that women are carried along to achieve this inclusivity is, you have apex women organizations in Nigeria, right? You can, by amendment of the constitution, allow them, their leaderships, to represent the women in the National Assembly. That's the only way you can achieve. And of course, through appointments. The president, the governor, and others can also...
You're talking about a long-term plan, because we do know when it comes to constitutional amendments in Nigeria, we know what the process is like. I know that even the Ninth Assembly tried to do something with regards to women inclusiveness and getting to that 35%, but eventually was thrown out, which the court had to step in.
Absolutely.
But at the end of the day, Dr. Lome, for the EU Observer Group, they're talking about the fact that for all the elective positions, we have less than 10% of women. And you have alluded to the fact that some political parties, especially major political parties, did, remove the prices on the tickets for the women. But yet, the women still couldn't clinch those tickets. So where is the gap?
There is
the big
much
question.
more. There is much more than
in the short term to ensure that we see more women vying and even winning elective positions.
I don't see that happening immediately. It requires some laws being put in place to give them a kind of leeway. That is one. If you don't do that, you will not be able to just throw them into the fray. You know the reason? The reason is because the way you nominate people to fly the flags of political parties is a process that does not discriminate between gender. That's a problem in itself. So you have to find a way of, like I said, through fiat, bring a kind of special provisions that will allow women to occupy certain positions without going into direct contest with their with their male counterparts.
All right,
that is the way out. Okay. Otherwise, this will take another decade.
All right, Dr. Mefor, let's quickly look at the concerns also expressed by the National Peace Committee through its chairman, former head of state Abdul Salam Abubakar, who said that it becomes so worrisome. Voters being chased away, not being allowed to, exercise their fundamental rights and the rest, and got worried too about INEC, which everybody seems to, use the sledgehammer on and the rest. But there are more elections. I mean, in these general elections, should we still raise more concern?
For me, apart from INEC, Nigeria police have actually failed Nigerians. That's a fact. You see, the last time I was here, I talked about the concentric circles, 3 to 4 circles of election security. Is such that within the polling booths and polling units, you have police men present, but they don't bear arms. But the second circle, the policemen, they bear arms. And in the outermost ring, you have the military men, soldiers, are there, ready to support the police if there is any need for them to directly intervene. Now, I tell you, you see, the fact is this: whether we like it or not, the police watched while ballot boxes were smashed and snatched, even beavers taken away in places like Katsina and so on and so forth. They did nothing. It is their job to stop such from happening.
It's all right.
There must be their own Nigerians explanation.
Yeah, thank you very much, Dr. Mefor. It's all right. We're going to wind down
to their responsibilities.
Sorry, Mefor. I had to interject. And when I interject like that, it's because we don't have all the luxury of time, please.